Hi, Emilio. So you've completed your last set of essays. Let's see what you wrote here today. Okay, this is about green energy. Here's what you wrote. The climate change. Okay, well, basically, climate change doesn't start with the. It's usually just climate change, no article. So let's try it like that, okay? Climate change has forced humanity to reduce pollution and contamination. In this sense, experts throughout both the developed and developing world have debated whether green industries are more not prevalent, but more beneficial and sustainable than traditional industries nowadays. This essay will discuss the issues, using examples from Cambridge University and the UK government to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, this is fine, but again, you haven't given your opinion. Okay, remember it says discuss both views and give your opinion. So, as I think I've mentioned before, when it tells you directly, give your opinion, or do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, or which are greater, the benefits or the disadvantages, whatever the wording is, but whenever they ask you or they command you basically for your opinion, it's really in your best interest to include this in your introduction, because Band 7, Task Achievement, says that if you want a Band 7, that you need to present a clear position throughout the response. Throughout means from the beginning to the end. And so essentially it's telling us that you should include your position in the introduction. You didn't do that here, okay? All you need to do will say, I believe XYZ, and then this essay will discuss both issues. And then that's it. Okay, so on one hand, there is ample evidence that green energies are growing in popularity because they would be beneficial to prevent global warming. Again, no the. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, today the production of greenhouse gases such as, we don't say dioxide from carbon, we say carbon dioxide from fossil resources or traditional industries provoke damage. Now, there's damage which is countable and damage which is uncountable. They are used differently and they have a different meaning. Here you want uncountable damage, no several, no S. So they provoke damage to the environment, in particular to the ozone layer. Secondly, wait a minute, let's see. Okay, hold on a second. Let me just read it again, all right? I was working on the grammar and I didn't work to see if you had an example for this. So they would be beneficial to prevent global warming. There's two reasons why. Fossil fuels damage the ozone, and then, okay. Secondly, costs would be reduced by using infrastructure that works renewable energy such as solar energy, wind power, and so on. For example, an extensive study by Cambridge University predicted that the temperature of the world would increase from 3 to 5 degrees if companies kept using fossil energies, and it would cause many problems around the world. Forest fires, I don't know what snow break is, I don't know what that means. Drought, and so forth. All right, now this is the second time you've done this, so forth and so on. Either you mention what you're talking about, or don't tell me so on or so forth or etc. It's not a good idea in an academic essay. Okay, it kind of makes the reader think, well, it's important or it's not important. If it's important, tell me what it is. If it's not important, don't mention it. What you could have done instead is say including. This way you show us that there are more, but you're not going to mention them all. So you could have said instead, it would cause many problems around the world, including forest fires, whatever this is, and drought. Okay? Therefore, it is conclusively clear that industries need to invest in infrastructure from green energies to both reduce costs and take care of the environment. All right, you got into some detail about, let me see. You got into some detail about the environmental benefits of green energy, but you didn't get into any detail about how it reduced cost. So that for me was something that was underdeveloped. Remember that whenever you present a main idea, it's also important to provide some support for it, okay? And the reason why I say that you have to do this, again, comes from the band descriptors. In fact, you know what? I'm going to show it to you so I've got proof. Here, let me show it. Here. So check it out. Band descriptors, band 7. Look what it says. Presents, extends, and supports main ideas. So you have to support them. It's not enough just to present them. Okay? Because look at this. If you do this, it gives you a band 6. Presents relevant main ideas, but some may be inadequately developed or unclear. So if you're not going to support your ideas, you're not going to be able to get a 7. Okay? Not at least for task achievement. So it's really, really important to support all of your main ideas. Now, as far as what I was saying in the beginning, presents a clear position throughout the response. Again, this is one of the criteria that you have to fulfill in order to be considered for a 7. Now, if you don't need a 7, then it's okay. You can continue writing it the way you were writing. But if you do need a 7, this is something you need to do. Let's move on. On the other hand, although there are several advantages to the environment by using green energies, changing the majority of infrastructure in many industries around the world could threaten, with an EN, their energy security. This is largely because before the discovery of the greenhouse effect, all the energy industries in the world used, and many of them still use, here, we don't call them fossil resources, we call them fossil fuels, okay? So they could not simply change their resources from one day to another. For instance, recent empirical research by the UK government revealed that this change must be gradual, because 80% of the world economy mainly depends on fossil fuels, such as oil and natural gas. Consistent with this line of thinking is that currently a considerable amount of companies, such as the automotive industry, have handled this problem, fabricating different kinds of energy to gradually change from oil to electricity. Thus, it's possible to state that green energies are threatening, EN again, energy security, especially those who are still using fossil fuels. All right, this is not about energy security. This is about the fact that it's just too difficult to switch from one form of energy to the other, but this is not what energy security is about. So this paragraph for me feels a little off topic. In order to discuss how how green energy threatens energy security, you need to talk about different things altogether. So you needed to talk about how, because these are, a lot of the energy that we get from green energy is from like weather phenomena, it's not 100% reliable. So if you have a strange occurrence of rain when you rely a lot on solar energy, this could potentially threaten your supply of energy. Okay, so you're basically dependent on weather conditions. And that could be true for like wind power and so forth. If all of a sudden you've got this heat wave where there's no wind happening whatsoever, then that could potentially threaten your energy supply. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about energy security. We also talk about how affordable this is. So you could have talked about how switching over to this type of energy would be a huge expense, and it might, in the long term it might be worth it, but in the short term it would be really, really difficult. So that's how you could have made this paragraph on topic. All right, so your conclusion. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although green energies are threatening, again, this is now like the third time you've used this word and you've used it incorrectly, so I want you to be careful, because then it starts to really stick out, okay? It is more important to prevent climate change. It is predicted that green energies will save the future generations in the world. All right, that's fine. All right, now if you wanted to make this argument stronger, I would have put the paragraph talking about the benefits of green energy last. All right, because we usually stick our strongest argument last and our weakest argument first. So that's another thing I would have done. For me, it was a good essay. I can definitely see that your writing is improving. I saw a lot of good things in this essay. I know I'm focusing on some of the negatives because it is your last set with us, and I want you to know where some of the weaknesses are, because that's what's going to help you improve. But it was a good essay, and I definitely do see progress in your writing. I want you to know that. But this was off topic, okay? So you had to work on this a little bit more. and of course some of the other things that we talked about. All right, why don't we take a look at your map here. These two maps depict the settlement of an island, sorry, before and after it was populated. At first glance, it is clear that this island develops as a town with footpaths and vehicle tracks. There's infrastructure and housing. All right, now, it's fine in many ways, although I want to remind you that our overview should not have detail, okay? So I don't really want you to start mentioning footpaths and vehicle tracks and so forth. Instead, what you could just say is that at first glance, it is clear that after construction, the island became appropriate for tourism and hospitality. All right, that would have been a better way to do your overview here. Okay, so let's move on. Before, colonization is not the best word here. You could have just said construction. All right, let's try it again. So before construction, the island was mainly surrounded by the sea and one beach at the western part. No, the island was mainly surrounded by the sea with one beach at the western part, and it had a large virgin territory of about 20,000 square meters with 8 trees along the area. However, after some time, not it was built houses. Careful with your grammar here. Houses were built on the east and west sides of the island and 3 buildings at the center of it, all connected by footpaths and vehicle tracks running from west to east and south of the town. Furthermore, one pier for boating was developed. All right, this is not English grammar. Careful. Was developed at the southern area, and a lake was created. It wasn't formed, because that's kind of like it was formed even naturally. You want to show that this was a man-made lake. At the east of the territory. Finally, it is evident that in the past there were no homes. But after the settlement, there are residents living in the western eastern parts of the town where trees were found before. Okay. In summary, the construction of the island in some interval of time is clearly observed in the building of roads and residences as well as additional facilities. All right, that's fine. Okay, so that was pretty good. Little areas of grammar that were a little awkward, but other than that, it was fine. Also, watch out with your overview. Remember what the overview is supposed to contain. A general feeling, a general sense, a general statement about it, but without detail, without data. All right? So, pretty good job here. Now, I know it's your last set of essays. I don't know if you've told us when you plan on taking the exam. If you've got some time, can you sign up for some more essay corrections with us? If you're finding them helpful and you're using the feedback, which I mean, I've seen progress in your writing from the beginning. So I'd like to see if we can progress more. I'm sure we can. So see if you can sign up for one of the other packages of just essay corrections so we can continue to work together. Okay, Emilio? So good luck. Let us know what you decide to do one way or another. And I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, good luck.